Hello everyone, I am interviewing Karandeep Singh Grover, who became CEO of a software development company called AtliQ Technologies at a very young age of 24. The interesting thing is that he's not one of the co-founders. I am actually one of the co-founder and investor in this company. The name of the company is AtliQ Technologies, which is a software and mobile app development company as well as data analytics solution company. This company has more than 80 people, and in today's talk we are going to discuss Karan's entire journey, how he joined as a software engineering intern, and within 4 years of time duration he quickly grew in his career and became a CEO. Towards the end of this conversation, he's going to discuss some of the tips that you all can use to rapidly rise in your career. So please make sure you watch till the end and let's begin the conversation. Karan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm really glad to be interviewing you in this beautiful premises of AtliQ. So let's start with the first question. What is your role at AtliQ Technologies and what are your role responsibilities that you're playing here?
I'll start with adding what exactly AtliQ has. So AtliQ has three SBUs. To start with, software engineering, second is digital marketing, and third is data department. Now, data department is something we are trying to diversify into right now. So my role as the CEO is overseeing all three departments, making sure we are not having any gaps. If there are any gaps, identifying them at the right time and right place, making sure those things don't occur again. I'm overseeing the execution of all departments. I'm not involved in day-to-day processes in most of the time, but I make sure that everything that's happening is at the correct level and we are making the right revenues. And other than this, I am also playing a dual role. The second role that I'm playing is head of data, in which I'm trying to establish a department. We are going to have data analysts, scientists, data engineers, and diversifying into this segment.
You joined AtliQ as a software engineering intern 4 years back. Within 4 years, you became CEO. At that time, AtliQ had only 7 employees. What kind of career plans did you have at that point?
So when I started back in 2018 with AtliQ, I always wanted to experiment with entrepreneurship. I did my first internship in 2018, second one again during the winter of it. At that time, I was also preparing for masters. But in a way, I always wanted to go towards the entrepreneurship path. When I was in mid of my internship, I realized that this is something that I would be more interested in. And I was in a dilemma, should I be continuing with AtliQ or should I be going for a master's? I chose AtliQ. I guess I'm glad I did it. I always wanted to go towards entrepreneurship, but I never thought I would be doing that within AtliQ itself.
Now, when you joined AtliQ, it was a small company, 7 people. You are from same university where I studied, DDU, and there were some big tech companies coming in for campus interviews. So why did you choose to work for small companies and not join big firms?
One of the first reasons that I can say is I don't see I'll be in much involved state it's a MNC. But when it's a startup, I can see that if they are, say, you already mentioned there were 7-8 people, right? I can see my impact. I was literally 12.5% of the workforce at that time. So looking at that, I chose AtliQ since I was a big I can contribute big in that terms.
I see. That's good. So now let's talk about your journey from intern to an engineering manager, because you became engineering manager, the company started growing rapidly. So what was your journey and what things did you do special which helped you become engineering manager in a very short time duration?
So if I talk about the overall length, it took me around 1.5 internship, in fact, to become an engineering manager. During this second stint of my internship, I was actually I started managing one project, which was a wireless retail project. So the thing that was happening was our head of department was busy with multiple projects. He wasn't having much time to look after that project. There was a gap that I saw that I can go ahead, I can contribute on this project. Then what I did, I asked him if I can take a lead. He checked if I was able to do that. He was initially shadowing with me. Then he started taking up client calls. I started converting requirements into actual code. Not only that, but into Jira stories and everything. So that's where I began. I saw a gap. I tried to improvise on it, whatever I can do. Not only that, I was also being involved in certain other situations as well. There was a campus hiring back in DDU only. So I made sure that I was active part of it. Since it was a summer internship, the place where I came from, I took extra care that it went fine. It went well. So those were a few incidents that led me to becoming an engineering manager.
So just to summarize, you took a lot of ownership basically, and
Exactly.
you did not do the things that were assigned to you, which was programming work, but you went above and beyond that as well, correct?
Exactly. I would say I was only doing 70% or say 80% of coding by the time like mid of my second internship.
Okay. That's really good and in fact inspirational for many fresh hires who join company with a mindset that they have to be doing only coding and there will be seniors or mentors in the company and they need to be guiding them. But in your case, you took the full ownership. It's called like an extreme ownership principle and you work with the spirit of as if you are an owner of the company, correct?
Correct.
So let's move to the second question, which is from engineering manager you become CEO, like within in less than 4 years you become CEO. You're very young, 24 year of age. I see that this doesn't happen with many people. I still remember because I'm also involved with AtliQ Technologies. I'm an investor and I'm mentoring. This is the company that my brother started. And I still remember talking with you back in your internship days. And there were a couple of other interns who were also hired in the same company. But you did something different than other people. So, what kind of advice would you give, or just mention what are the things that you did differently compared to your peers, which help you grow so rapidly in your career?
One of the first points that I would like to highlight is there were the other interns that were there with me. They were in a way just complaining. Say they see a gap, like it's a startup, right? They see a gap, they say that, oh, this is a gap. This is something that we are stuck at. I wasn't like that. I know I can see a gap very well. I was from the same university and I was like also doing the same stuff that they did. But I didn't only think that this is a gap. I always thought, how can I solve this gap? How can I contribute to make sure that this
Got
gap
it.
is resolved?
So they were married to a problem, but you decided to marry with a solution, not a problem.
Exactly.
Very good. All right. So let's talk about your opinion on joining a startup versus a big company. Of course, I think based on your background, you will be biased to joining a startup, but please explain us your thought process on if there is a fresh hire, a person joining, just starting their career, either a software engineer or a data scientist or a data analyst. What advice would you give in terms of joining a startup versus a big company?
As you mentioned, I'm definitely a lot biased in like picking a startup. That's of course like given my background. I would still advise anyone, any candidate that's starting off to go for a startup. Number one reason being you get to wear multiple hats. If you're in say an MNC, the typical thing is you'll be continuing to work on one given project the entire time. You might not even switch the project for a couple of months, or you would still be sitting in one desk in one corner. You'd be simply doing like coding, coding, and coding the entire day. There won't be anything. There would be gaps, but if you give a solution or say if you suggest something, what is the scope of that actually happening? No, right? So that is why I feel that startup is the right environment for young minds since they can adapt themselves to multiple things. On the other hand, I see that MNCs can be beneficial as well. Like you get to learn certain technical skills, certain corporate skills. But on the same side, I would say being in a startup, you can be more creative.
Got it. And I guess if you have your own plan of starting your own company, right, or becoming a partner, and if you have entrepreneurship dreams, I think startup gives more opportunities than the big companies.
Exactly. Like it nurtures you, like how you can grow. Like if I talk about myself, since I was handling recruitment when I was an intern, I was handling projects, I was handling clients. It came naturally to me. Like when I guess I was 20 or 21 back then. So if you're doing that thing at 20-year age, that's only possible at a startup. An MNC won't give you that shot.
Got it. So if you join a big company, maybe you work as a software engineer for few years, then it takes maybe 5 years to become even an engineering manager. Then department head, it might take you 10, 15 years, right? But in the case of startup, your example shows you can become CEO in 4 years. Of course, the startup company and their management need to have the right mindset and the correct culture. So Yeah.
Exactly, that's needed. And when you are in an MNC, you just are a rat in a rat race.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are thousands of employees other than you, right? If not thousand, at least hundreds. What's your contribution? Who's going to see that?
Got it. That's a very good point. So now, see, when you grow as a manager, it's not just about coding and technical skills. There are soft skills at play. So, can you explain the difference between the soft skills and technical skills in terms of your career growth? Because I see many young, engineers or data scientists, they join any company, they're focusing, their 90 or 95% focus is only on technology. They want to learn Python, C++, but they focus less on soft skills such as presentation skills, negotiation, ego management, etc. So what are your thoughts on these two category of skills?
I'll just start with one statement. Technology can change. You can change the programming language and you can still grow, right? But soft skills are going to be there no matter what career path you choose. I can be a software engineer, I can be a product owner, I can be a product manager, a CEO, a head of department, I can be anything. I'm always going to need soft skills. When it comes to technical skills or programming language or frameworks, it's going to change depending upon time, depending upon what role I'm playing.
I see. So it's like Albert Einstein equation that politics are for the moment and equation is for eternity. So when it comes to
Exactly.
like communication, people management, ego management, right? Negotiation, these skills are eternal.
Exactly.
Whereas I remember I started with C++, Java, then started working in Python, JavaScript. Tomorrow it will be some other language. But the
Exactly.
soft skills remain the same. And one trend I'm noticing, Karan, is nowadays languages are becoming like higher level. So
Correct.
C++ is more lower level language where you have to do a lot of memory management, etc. Whereas in Python and JavaScript, a lot of things are taken care of out of the box by the language itself. And now we are seeing a trend of low code or no code tools where you can just drag and drop and do coding. So maybe in the future, there will be a time where either a neural network will write code for you or a business manager can do drag and drop and they can build an application. Oh, you agree with that point?
Yes, in a way I do. Like if you look at the academia, right? Many of the physicists, many of the non-programming people are also taking up programming. Why is that? Because Python has made it so very easy that you can easily pick it up. You can start coding and you can like make whatever you want to do. Even I have a few clients I've discussed with who have started off with like no code programming languages or say no code tools to get their software done. So it's definitely picking up. It won't be a case that it's going to happen in all the software or say all the tools, but yeah, a portion of the industry would definitely be like going into that area.
Very cool. So now let's move on to the most important question of this entire interview, which is if a person is joining their first job or if they are early in their career, either as a software engineer, data scientist, what are 3 tips that you would give to that person? 3 tips or however many tips you want to share so that they can grow as rapidly as you grew in your career.
As we discussed earlier, don't marry a problem. Always look out for a solution. Don't just keep complaining and complaining. Find out how you can contribute. It's not about the problem, right? Every place you go is going to have problems. Even MNCs have some problems. Startups have it more. They have it to say 10x scale. But just focus on how you can solve it. Complaining is never going to help in any way. Not to the company, not to you. That's one. Second thing would be what I've seen, like if I talk about software engineers, they get too much attached to what they're working on. Say if a thing can be done in Python right now, what if there is another programming language that's coming in which can solve it even better? Like happened with other languages, like people were using C++ as well, right? In the past. Now everyone is switching to Python for the similar task. So don't be attached to a particular framework or even a programming language. That would be the second. Third one would be focus extremely well on your communication skills, presentation skills, negotiation, and all such soft skills. Even I would say business skills, like business side of thing, understanding how businesses work, how a particular app or software is going to help the end client. And don't focus on your client, but focus on their client, because ultimately the software is not going to be used by the client, but by their clients or say by their team. So it's about developing a mindset that ultimately business is what is needed. Like business is going to use the software, and soft skills and communication is important.
Very good. So just to summarize your conversation, work in a company as if you are the owner of the company.
Correct.
And I am a witness of that you following that principle, because I still remember a few years back, one client reached out to me on LinkedIn. He was my YouTube channel follower actually, and he said, "Can you build this software?" And I'm like, "No, I'm working for my company Bloomberg at that time." And I said that, "But I'm an investor in this company, AtliQ, and I connected that person with you." And he started with a very small project, and now he gives a lot of work on a recurrent basis to this company. He's in fact one of the major channel in terms of revenues for this company. Okay. And I still remember that person, after I connected you two, that person never came back to me with a complaint, right? So I was at peace of my mind that whatever referral I gave, it is correct, and you took care of the whole thing, right from the relationship management with client, execution, on-time delivery, budgeting, everything. That would be the tip that you need to follow if you are starting early, if you're early in your career. One complaint that I'm hearing, Karan, from some folks whom I have given same advice, that work in a company as if it is your own company. They always say that, see, I work in that company as if it's my own company, but company's management is not recognizing my contribution. So what kind of answer you would give to that kind of question?
It's all about synergy, I would say. You have to also see what vision the founders are having, or say the core management, like how exactly they are operating. I would say I was lucky in this case. I was very well aligned with the founders. I was very well aligned with the core team. Plus, the synergy was there. So it wasn't just one way, right? Like I was just contributing. They were recognizing it and they were giving it back to me as well. Like I was basically like having a sense of home in there, right? Now, that's not the case with all startup founders, right? But you still get to wear multiple hats and solve problems. So my suggestion in this would be, if you feel that you are in a startup where there's no synergy, you can't like relate to the vision of the company, relate to the mission of the company, you can simply quit. There's no problem, like no point in just complaining that your contribution is not being recognized, right? Find another one. It's easy. If you have the skills, if you can like really make it, then you would find another one, and maybe you will find the synergy.
Got it. And the advice that I give to that kind of question is, let's say you work in one company for 6 months or 1 year, and your vision is not aligned with management vision, and they're not recognizing your contribution. You're still going to work and complaining. Complaining is very bad. Exactly. So for however many days you work in that company, still work with an entrepreneur mindset. People suffer from employee syndrome. They just go to coffee, keep on complaining. It's gonna just harm you. If you still work with an entrepreneur mindset, you will carry those habits with you when you join another company. Exactly. And the practice and the skills that you have practiced there are going to be extremely useful in your second company, and you will be able to make a lot of progress. As well as if you want to start your own company at some point, now you have that personality, correct? It's not like you worked in 5 different companies, you always complain, and then after 10 years, let's say you save some money and start your own business. Okay, you can start your own business, but you're still carrying your bad habits, which is complaining, not working with an entrepreneur mindset. And
old habits die hard, right?
Yes.
So if you have been like, if you're not convincing yourself that you are acting as an entrepreneur from the very beginning, once you're 10 years an employee, even your 11th year, like even your first year as a founder, might still have that effect. So like you'll still be in that mindset, and it's really hard to change.
Very good. So that was really inspirational conversation, Karan. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for spending time.
Thank you.